So I was just playing with Ellie here, my beautiful rescue. She rescued me. She came to me and brought so much love, and so we were just playing. And then I got brought over here, and I was looking at the whole aesthetics of how this went and came into being, because I hung this tapestry up, and then all of a sudden I brought my painting out, and there's another painting over here that matches it too, with the owl in there, right? My friend Becky did that painting and gifted that to me, and then I have this painting here of the owl that I did. I didn't realize this is such a beautiful happening. So I wanted to come over here and just talk real quick and make a short video. Haley. She's now behind the camera. She's manning or womaning the camera right now. Ram Dass talked about how there's a filter between how we perceive ourselves, and then essentially perceive ourselves in the world, and then other people. And so we walk around with this filter between ourselves and the world, and it was bound to get dirty and clumped up with debris, like any filter does in any device. If you have a filter in it, you have to change the filter, clean it out, because of all the clutter that gets clogged in that filter. And so by doing that, what is that? Disengaging from thoughts so much, being so mental. So we get into meditation, get into a quiet space, calm our thoughts down. You can't stop thoughts, but in a sense, you're taking your focus away from the mind chatter. And it relieves you, because then you have an opportunity to be with all of who you are and fall more into the body and be present, and not so much in the head. I used to talk about that band Talking Heads is an awesome name for a band, because human beings are literally, have been for a very long time, just walking around with a talking head, and the body isn't really present. You have some people that are so not present in their body that they don't even know that they have one, and then they fall victims to illness. Anyway, there's that filter, and there's a filter inside of ourselves and how we see ourselves, and that then projects out into the world. So that's the whole thing, is as within, so without. And so in conclusion, it's easy to see what's happening around you, circumstances, the people that come into your life, even if it's for a brief moment when you're walking down a road or out and about in public, that they're mirroring what you have, your own perception of yourself and then others about. So you're projecting onto them, projection comes back to you. It's like a boomerang. So all of us do it, but when we clean out the filter, then we clean the debris that we're collecting, and it's coming from within. Nobody's doing anything to us. We attract that by what we're perceiving of ourselves, and then in turn projecting that onto the other person, and then talking to other people, or with the self and then the other people, about how these other people are and how they're doing you wrong, or that there's something wrong with them. If they'd change, then you'd feel better. But what happens is that you keep that active, and so that projection goes on to the world in general in itself. You can even do it onto nature. It's not just people. But because humans have surrounded themselves so much with each other, then, and for a reason, it's easy to blame the other person for coming into your life and doing something to you. So we have all of these conclusions that we draw in psychology about others, and we haven't had programs and names for them. And I was in that for a little bit, and I even wrote a book I took off the shelf and disengaged from it, because it's not a truth that I would like to carry around. It was part of the filter debris. And I wrote a book on narcissism because of what happened to me, or I perceived to have happened to me. Again, that's not available anymore to get, because I disengaged from the storyline that's not really true. It's a half-truth. Because in summary, what really happens and what we perceive to be what the others are about, and who we think they are, and our judgments and everything, is really just a projection of how we see ourselves, and we attract that. And that's the force that governs everything. It's all over it, and it gives you exactly what you're doing. It's hard to hear sometimes because we're so involved into seeing ourselves maybe as that person that deserves, I'm worthy of good people and I should have this by now in my life and be a certain way, be treated by others in a certain way, and have all these wonderful things happen all the time. But what we're doing is we're not really feeling that ourselves. It's a deep, deep collection of things that don't belong to you anymore. But it builds up and builds up and builds up, and then we continue to track that which we don't want. And then we're blaming the outside world, blaming others or the circumstances. And what's happening is that we just carrying around a vibration that is attracting all that to us. So what to do? Well, it's kind of a disengaging energetically, and that's how we do it through meditation, quieting the mind, and then we're not feeding the thoughts that are then creating more and more and more buildup for it to come to us again. We're literally letting go of the storylines, and there comes a point within this process where you may feel completely alone and by yourself, and that's actually a very good thing. Because when you have the opportunity to not, collect cosmic debris from others or your perceptions that build up from within about yourself and others, then you have an opportunity to have more room within and more space. And many people, we're social beings, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. It's just a very delightful experience is to have relations with others, and even a close one we call our partner, or get married and do all that. But what it is it creates a distraction if we hadn't had the opportunity prior to that to really come home to ourselves and expand and leave the room. No matter where we go, who we're with intimately, doesn't get tainted or infected or lasts for a little bit but then goes sour after a while because of all of that space that we did not sit within first. And it's easy to feel more secured and feel powerful when you have a partner with you in your life. And there's no wrong or right in this situation. I'm just drawing a correlation between the cosmic debris that we gather up, and that's why relations don't really, last for long. What they don't is because of that, and it's easy to blame the other person. And we call them a narcissist, or we call them like they're sociopaths. So there's something wrong with these people. And what it is our own projections and fears that we have within our own skin about how we see ourselves. And this is a really provocative, not so short video anymore. It looks like I'm on 7 8 minutes, but it doesn't matter. I just thought I don't just carelessly make videos to get attention or to get subscribers or do any of that. I speak when it feels good to do so. And she sounds like she's like coughing up a hairball. Yeah, she's my little bear. She's a wolf. She's a cat. She's a little shapeshifter, and she's got a lot of fur, so sometimes she coughs up that hairball. But anyway, clearing things out. Again, coughing up a hairball, clearing out all of that stuff that may have gotten in her, in her lungs that she's doing right now, or within her system. She has to clear it out. It's the same thing with a human, because we have that filter between us and the world, and there's nothing wrong or right here. It's just that what happens is that if our relationships are going awry, or if we're not having things happen in our lives that we want to happen quicker, it's easy to blame the world around us, whatever the circumstances, and what's happening is it's really just that we have too much buildup within, so that we're not seeing our own energies in our own way that could be a false image. What's happening this month is that there's an opportunity for us to really make that transformation into a different way that we're perceiving ourselves, which is going to change the whole paradigm in which we see the world. So that's it for now. I just want to leave you off on that. Thanks for listening.